Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And this is actually a build for my save file. I haven't done a build for my save file in what feels like months. I know it hasn't been. I know it's probably only been maybe a month, but that's long enough considering that I only have a handful of lots left in this world of Oasis Springs to finish. I am so close, but one of the big looming projects is the land grab mansion. I have to think of something for that. So to try to get back in the groove of working on my save and chipping away at these last few lots, I decided to jump into this neighborhood here. I think this is the Dusty Turf lot, and this is basically the neighborhood that I decided to dedicate towards mid-century style homes. So you can probably see a few of them in the surrounding areas. There's one obviously right next door to this lot, which, oh man, I did that one maybe over a year ago at this point. I don't even know. I lose track because if you guys did not know, for my save file, I wasn't necessarily working on one world at a time initially. However, the way in which I'm versioning my save is by the worlds, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So the first release of my save was just a Willow Creek world save that happened to have been the very first world that I completed, just like totally randomly and like totally on a whim. And it just so happens that Oasis Springs was the next closest one to completion, and it seems as though I'm going to be finishing it this month in September. So I'm really hoping that I can release the next version of my save, which will then include a completed Willow Creek and a completed Oasis Springs. And I'm really looking forward to it. I finally decided it was okay to like put that out there as an expectation because I really think I'm going to be able to do it. If for any reason I can't do it, you guys will definitely hear it in another voiceover. I usually present at least 3 opportunities to kind of catch you guys up on things per week because I try to do 3 uploads a week, but yeah, definitely look forward to that if you have been playing with my Willow Creek save, or if you have just simply checked it out, or even if you haven't. I mean, I'm just really excited to kind of see what happens next. I'm really excited to see what Oasis Springs kind of shapes up to be because I've already created a lot of the families and most of the homes, like I've mentioned. So I'm just really excited about it. It feels like progress is being made. It's going to be a big lift for all of the worlds, but yeah, I don't know. I was really excited about this one too because this mid-century home was a little bit out of my comfort zone in regards to color. As you guys noticed from the title, it is called the Pink Mid-Century because, well, it's pink. You guessed it. It is a pink home, and pink is definitely not a color I like. Just gonna put that out there. I'm not a huge fan of pink. It's definitely not a color that I would choose for the exterior of my home, nor would I choose it for a bedroom or anything like that. It wouldn't be part of my color scheme is what I'm essentially trying to say. So it felt a little awkward to do an entire house that was pink, and I did want to kind of keep that color scheme pretty bright on the exterior, so I kind of used a whitish gray stone for like that chimney stack there, and I also used it for the half wall that kind of creates a little bit of a patio space in the front yard, which is totally different from how I've done a lot of my builds. Typically, I'll do a patio in the backyard or something like that because it's usually a little bit more private. However, I was looking at a few houses on Pinterest, and one of the ones that I found had kind of like this front patio area, and I thought it was really nice. It was so open, but there was still at least the half wall to section it off from, I don't know, street access. Does that make any sense? Not really, but I just thought it was a nice change of pace, I suppose. So I do put a outdoor dining table here on this front patio, which made the thumbnail a little bit weird, right? Like, let's not even skirt around it. It made it a little bit weird. It did, because I couldn't get like this typical head-on, like, front of the home picture because of the dining table, but I didn't want to remove it just to get a picture. Like, it was a little bit weird, but I did the best that I could, so hopefully it wasn't too ugly of a thumbnail. Y'all can tell me if it is. It's all right. I'm not gonna judge you because I judge myself. It's a weird thumbnail, but as you can see, I stacked a couple of chairs here because I used one of the bigger tables, and this is only for a family of 3, so I figured they had the stack of chairs in case they had company over, and I put a bunch of lights on the half wall, little outdoor lights, and then I move on to the interior. So this is only a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. I was really striving for at least 1.5 bathrooms, but I honestly liked how open this home felt, considering the amount of bedrooms that I kind of squeezed in there, so hopefully you guys don't mind. And also, this was the first build that I did where I stacked some different windows since we got that update, which I was so excited about because I thought it created kind of a unique modern looking window here. So basically I used like this 2-tile larger modern window and then I stacked the little tiny ones on top of it. And I suppose I probably could have used the Get Famous windows that essentially look just like this. Like, we're not even going to try to skirt around this. They look pretty much like that. But I really liked how it looked and it was fun to play around with it. I haven't been too adventurous with it yet. I haven't come up with any unique shapes or anything that I've really liked. So this was just a little kind of test, I suppose. But as you can see, I am working on the kitchen and I used these base game counters and cabinets, as well as the base game wood flooring to kind of pick the color scheme. And it's kind of a mix of colors, I would say. Again, I always say this. I am quite literally a broken record, but I'm always trying to push myself to try different things. And this house is like kind of sort of modern, but still pretty cozy in my opinion. But it's also just a very bright home, which I really liked. And I chose that darker blue just so it wasn't too vibrant and too bright and like overpowering, if that makes sense. I wanted some of the colors to be a bit muted, and as you can see, like even for the wallpaper that I chose, it's a bright color but it's kind of a pastel, so it is a bit muted as well. And that's because I wanted the white to really be able to pop, if that makes any sense. I don't know, now I'm just kind of rambling about my color choices, but all in all, I just really liked the interior of this home. It was a bit modern, but like I said, I still think it looks pretty cozy, especially the living space. So I'm excited for us to get to that point, but I don't want to skip over the kitchen because I really liked the kitchen too. It's kind of a unique shape. I thought it was a little bit weird considering that the kind of island there is right in the middle of that archway, but your Sims can get around it just fine. There's no like routing issues, but it just felt a little bit weird. I kind of just moved past it to, I don't know, just kind of deal with it because I just liked the setup of the kitchen and I didn't really want to change it. But yeah, it's a smaller space and I think it really allowed me to create kind of like this open concept more so with the kitchen and the dining, because I didn't actually section anything off to be the dining space. Like the more I ended up looking at the floor plan I came up with, I was like, well, they're going to sit at a table. It kind of has to be here right in the entryway, which is also something I don't normally like doing, but I don't know, in this certain home, it worked for me. So hopefully you guys enjoy it too. And figuring out the curtain situation was so hard, and I don't know if it's because I stacked those windows where the curtains were just like trying to clip to one of those windows at some height, but it was really hard, so I ended up just picking these cats and dogs curtains, which I thought brought a nice little pop of color as well. And then I put a side table near the door, and I end up just putting like an armchair over here, or actually just another dining chair. I completely forgot, and I've been doing this so much in my builds lately, where I either have a dining table that doesn't have all the chairs there, or there's just like a random chair in some corner of the home with something on it. I don't know. This is just something that I've been doing more and more frequently, and I don't know if it's because like I saw it somewhere or whatever, but I feel like it makes builds look a little bit more realistic as well. So let me know what you guys think of that. Is that like weird, or does it kind of sort of make sense? I don't really know. But as you can see, I am just putting some artwork on the wall, and I chose a few different overhanging lights and a rug for underneath the dining table. And then I end up moving on to the bathroom because honestly, I just wanted to get it out of the way. I wanted to focus on the rest of the home first. So since this is the only bathroom in the home, I wanted to make it a little bit bigger than my normal full-size bathrooms, and I decided to just make it basically an extra 3 tiles bigger just to have a little bit more space and storage in my head. So this is basically where there is an extra like countertop, and there's just a candle and like a couple of plants and stuff like that. But I was also able to give them the shower tub combo, and then they have like a little storage tower thing that belongs in the bathrooms, or at least that's in the bathroom organization clutter category. And I thought that was kind of nice because, like I said, it at least gives them that theoretical storage space that you'd probably be looking for in a bathroom. And when you have at least 2 bathrooms, you can kind of spread it out a little bit more, but with one it's a little bit challenging. And now I moved on to the living space, and I use these base game curtains that I always want to use, but they always go to the ceiling, and I always feel like it looks weird with a lot of the windows we have. But in this particular instance, I was actually very pleased with how they looked. And I also used these couches from Parenthood, and I ended up finally, again, I mean, I say this finally because I just feel like I haven't used it in a long time. I think I did in like an apartment recently, but I don't touch it as often as I wish I did. And I finally used that TV stereo bookshelf combo from Tiny Living. And then I just give them a tiny little coffee table that looks, like I said, a little bit more modern, because this is like a mix of modern and contemporary. Are those even the right words? Am I thinking of the right styles? I honestly don't know. I am no expert. But there's a little side table next to the sofa as well. And what I do for all of those big giant windows there is I end up putting a desk right in front of them. And I thought that was really nice because it doesn't block the windows. It still lets all of this really natural, beautiful sunlight in, but it's kind of a nice place to work. And I think I hyper-focused on that because I think I mentioned this before, like my office is tucked away in the back of my apartment and it has no windows. So when I'm in here working or doing anything like Sims related, like I'm just sitting here with artificial light and it stinks. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. It stinks. So it is like a dream of mine right now to be able to like put my desk in front of big open windows and just like sit there and let the sunlight pour over me. Like that is just what I am craving right now. And what I've been doing a lot too is because I'm working remotely, like a lot of us are at this time. And of course, you know, making Sims content, like I'm doing this at home in my office. So usually in the middle of the day, I'll go for a walk, which has been like so invigorating for me. So if you guys are kind of feeling a little cabin feverish, a little stir crazy, I would suggest going for a nice little walk. It has been so lovely to go outside every day and kind of, I don't know, just get a breather. Like sometimes you can feel kind of claustrophobic inside all the time. So maybe that's why I ended up with so many like bright open windows in this build too. Maybe I'm getting a little too deep. I don't know. Back to the build. So this is kind of like a little, I guess we can call it like a hallway area. And I just kind of put a side table and some lights and an armchair to somewhat match the couch. And then I move on to one of the first bedrooms, and it is actually their daughter's room. Now, I don't know if she is a child or a teenager. I wasn't really thinking full-blown teenager. Maybe she's kind of a preteen, so I'm thinking like middle school, like 12 or 13, something like that, where her room is still somewhat youthful, but there are also a few elements that are alluding to the fact that she is maybe maturing a little bit more. So she's got like a few like teddy bears, and maybe those are kind of a little bit more left over from her childhood, but she also has her own little writing desk, and she's got like this really cool mirror with all of the lights around it. And I don't know, she's just got a few elements within her room that to me kind of have me like imagining being in like 7th or 8th grade or something like that, like about to enter high school, where you think that you are the bee's freaking knees and then you realize that you're the bottom of the totem pole. Maybe that was just my experience. I don't know. But going from middle school where you were like, at least where I'm from, it's 6th to 8th grade. So when you were an 8th grader, you were like, I finally made it. Like, yes, I'm finally the oldest kid at the school and I'm at the top of the pack here. And then you enter high school and you are quite literally at the bottom again. And it's such a rude awakening. So I don't know, I was kind of thinking that, but I think she's a pretty cool kid. I think she's actually pretty studious, and I put those postcards above her desk because I think that she's really interested in traveling. I feel like her and her family really haven't left Oasis Springs at all, so she's always dreamed of going and exploring all of these different places around the world, and that's kind of a hope that she has for maybe starting high school, as she can, I don't know, go on like a class trip, which we had a few of when I was in high school, and then maybe even thinking farther down the road, like in college, her goal is to study abroad or something. So that's kind of a fun thought. And now I'm working on the parents' bedroom, which I end up using the same curtains from the living space, and then kind of creating somewhat of a muted room for them compared to the rest of the home. So they do still carry the blue into this room and, you know, the really sharp white. That even makes sense. And their room is kind of big and long, so I really didn't know what else to put in there. So I end up keeping it, I don't know, fairly open. I didn't really want to clutter it up so much just because I had the space, but I give them a dresser, and then I finally used this eco lifestyle like shelving unit thing. I was so excited about it because I've never used it before. Like, I think this is literally my first time. If it's not, then I'm just lying. I don't know, but it feels like the first time. It really feels like it because I took it out and I was like, you know what? if we're going to have any clutter in this room, it's going to be on top of this shelf compared to just completely over cluttering the dresser, which is what I usually do. So it was kind of nice to have another little area to clutter up and kind of put all of those, I guess, like bedroom knickknacks. I mean, there's some like lotions and like nail polish, there's books, and I do end up putting some clutter on top of the dresser just to kind of balance it out, it felt, because I kind of placed the shelf a little bit to the right, so I had to kind of clutter up the dresser a little bit to balance it in my head. And then I also just put a plant here in the corner, and I end up just putting another armchair in a corner, which, you know what, now I'm probably overdoing it. I'm gonna try to not do that. I can't make any promises, but I'm going to try because I ended up putting like so many armchairs in random corners of builds lately. I don't know where this came from. I don't know where that came from. It's driving me crazy. I have no armchairs in corners of my apartment. Like, why am I doing this? I don't really know. And I can guarantee it's going to be in a build or two next week too. So just don't yell at me. I don't know. I'm just a person. I have no idea. But I end up putting an armchair in the corner with a lamp, and then I just put a piece of artwork on the wall as well. And I actually ended up using the little meditation stool that we got with, what was it, like the spa day stuff, right? Yeah, from spa day. And I put it right here near the window with just a candle. So maybe mom or dad is really into meditation or yoga or something like that. Even though I didn't give them a yoga mat, maybe they're just focused on wellness. They're trying to be a little bit more, I don't know, what am I trying to say? Relaxed. So they decided to start meditating. And then there's just this little back entryway to the backyard, which surprised me yet again with the amount of space that I had. I always surprise myself. I'm like, wow, this house is so huge for me. The backyard must not even be there. I must not have any backyard at all. And well, I did. I definitely did. So I decided to really kind of designate certain areas for certain activities. So they do have this big kind of, I don't really know what you would even call this. I don't remember the item's name, but it came from Get Together, and it's basically like this glass overhang. And I put it out here and put a bunch of gardening plots underneath it. And I also used some of the vertical gardening plots that we got with Eco Lifestyle. So maybe again, mom or dad is really focused on gardening. Maybe that's one of their absolute favorite hobbies. And maybe the daughter is really into it too. I don't really know. There's also a bicycle from Eco Lifestyle, which I imagine belonged to their daughter. I think she maybe like rides her bike to school or something, which wouldn't that be so cute if they could do that? Oh, they used to be able to do that in The Sims 3. I'm just nostalgic now. Like if they missed the bus, they still had to go to school, I think. And I think you could ride your bike to school. I can't remember, but that's what I imagine. And it was really sweet. Or she gets together with like some of the kids in the neighborhood and they all ride their bikes together. But anyways, I ended up getting a swing set out as well and created a little area for the swing set that was not on cement. That seemed like a very good idea to like not have the swing set on cement. I ended up expanding it just a little bit because I wanted there to be some landscaping, but it then felt a little bit too crowded, and I wanted the adult Sims to be able to push another Sim on the swing set. So that was kind of my idea for at least making it a little bit wider. And then I realized that I still had so much more open space, which was hard to fill. I'm not even gonna lie, but I give them a couple of outside trash cans, and then I just put a little bonfire, which I thought was kind of a nice change of pace considering they have an outdoor dining space on the little front patio. So that's pretty much it for the build. I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!